What's up, guys? We're back with a full slate of NBA action here on Monday, January 6th. We're going to break down every NBA game tonight and look at bets on the side and over-under, and I might be back in the afternoon to throw some player props in the pinned comment once injury reports are confirmed. In terms of a recap, guys, we were on the NFL yesterday, and it did not go too hot, so we're not going to dive too deep into that. It was Week 18, and everybody knows the toughest weeks to bet in the NFL are Week 1 and Week 18. So we'll see how things go on the NBA tonight, guys. We're still on a pretty sick run over there at Stump the Spread, so definitely head over there and check things out if you are interested at all. Get on that free email list, all that good stuff. Hit the like button. It's a great way to show support for the channel and all the hard work I'm putting in every single day. Comment below with any bets you're looking at today, and I will give you my best advice on all of them. We are committed to responding to every single comment every day, so let us know anything you want to say about my picks, these videos, or anything you see here. As always, our favorite picks will be in the pinned comment down below. Now let's get into our first game of the day here, guys. We've got the Portland Trailblazers going on the road to take on the Detroit Pistons. The Blazers come into this game fresh off a nice 105-102 win there over the Milwaukee Bucks. Not something you see all the time, guys. Portland, obviously a team that is tanking it out this season, but Anthony Simons had a huge game there, putting up, 31 points, 28 points in the win. 5 of 12 from three-point range. Portland shot the ball relatively well, but not amazing. They really won this game on the boards, out-rebounding Milwaukee 55-43. So very good stuff there. They did a good job defending Lillard. We saw Chris Middleton have a terrible game, only 2 points from him. And yeah, just not enough off the bench. I mean, AJ Green had a monster day off the bench there for Milwaukee, but none of it was enough, guys. A very solid night out there, really across the board from Portland. And they were relatively healthy for this game. So yeah, just a good game across the board for them. In terms of their injury report for this one, we do see Jeremy Grant still on there and DeAndre Ayton on there as well. Jeremy Grant, definitely somebody that's been talked about in, trade rumors, but I think his salary is a little bit unappealing to other teams. He's dealing with a face injury. He's going to be out for this game. Ayton, guys, he's listed as rest for this game, but apparently he's probable now, so he's probably going to be out there on Monday. So looking like close to the full-strength Blazers as they go on the road to take on the Detroit Pistons, who are coming off a nice 119-105 win there over the Timberwolves. They've now won 3 in a row and 6 of their last 7 to get to that 17-18 on the year. They gave up 53 points there to Anthony Edwards, but they didn't give up much to anybody else there on Minnesota, and Cade came up with a massive 40-point game of his own. Obviously, losing Jaden Ivey for this team is not great, but Malik Beasley has been an absolute monster coming off the bench. The Pistons won this game despite shooting only 34% from three-point range. They did a very good job on the boards in this game, out-rebounding Minnesota at 47-33. That's a big, big part of why they won this game. Minnesota, they're in trouble, guys. I don't know. The vibes are straight up not good there in Minnesota. In terms of the injury report here for the Pistons, they're looking fully healthy. Obviously, Ivy gone for the season with that broken leg. I don't know what Cole Anthony was thinking. That was a pretty reckless dive. But other than, just no major injury concerns, then Jaden Ivey. So it should be a full-strength Pistons team. That's a big part of the reason they are 6.5-point favorites in this game. We've got a total here of 225.5. Portland 8-9-1 against spread on the road. They're 4-6-1 after a win. Detroit 7-9 against spread at home, and they are 6-9-1 against spread after a win themselves. This is a bit of a tough spot, guys. I don't think either one of these teams are particularly awesome. I do like what we're seeing from Portland here recently. I am worried about them having, a big drop-off after getting a win, but losing by 7 against the Pistons seems a little bit rough. Go ahead and give me Portland here getting 6.5 points. This is a small lean, guys. This is not going in the pinned comment, but I do think if you're committed to betting this first game of the day, you probably want to be on Portland. Next up, guys, we have two of the most underachieving teams in the NBA this season. We've got the Phoenix Suns going on the road to take on the Philadelphia 76ers. The Suns are now on a 4-game losing streak, losing to the Pacers, Grizzlies, Warriors, and Mavs over their last 4. Obviously, they've had some injury problems, but man, that was not a great look there against the Pacers. KD putting up 25 points. Congratulations, you were also a minus 22 out there. It just doesn't feel like they can defend anyone. Booker coming back hasn't mattered. Bradley Beal's playing terrible and not looking, very great, and who knows how long he'll stay healthy. 12 points for Monty Morris coming off the bench. That's cool. Grayson Allen putting up 13 off the bench. Cool. You lost by a ton despite shooting 40% from three-point range. You could not even, hold a candle to the Pacers there on the boards. You couldn't defend anyone. This is a not looking very good Phoenix Suns situation, guys. Things are not looking great. In terms of the injury report, Nurkic is going to be back now, but is that really something that's going to move the needle? Not necessarily. Royce O'Neal still out. His return could help this defense a little bit, but yeah, apparently he's still going to be out for quite some time there with that ankle sprain. So not going to be quite the full strength Suns, although they're getting close here as they go on the road to take on the Philadelphia 76ers, who have been a little bit better recently, winning 5 out of their last 7. They got a blowout 123-94 win there over the Nets their last time out, so that was nice, but Guys, it's been a pretty brutal season. I mean, Embiid played in that game against the Nets. They were playing a terrible team. He had plenty of time to rest. He comes in, puts up big numbers. We'll see what he can do here against the the Suns. Not necessarily a team that would be able to slow down a big man either. So I do kind of expect him to play in this game. We'll take a look at the injury report, but just based on the fact they're playing a team he can take advantage of, I think he will be out there. They crushed the Nets on the boards, and it's not like Brooklyn has anything to play for right now. So congratulations, you beat the Brooklyn Nets. Let's see if you can do it against a decent team. We do see the 76ers are banged up right now. Oubre likely out for this game. KJ Martin also on the injury report. Joel Embiid obviously perpetually on the injury report right now. He is questionable for this game due to a foot injury and a nose injury. So we'll see what's going on with Embiid. I think there's a decent chance he plays in this game, but it's far from a lock, obviously. KJ Martin not going to be back yet. That stress reaction in his left foot is keeping him out. Kelly Oubre dealing with that hand injury. He is questionable for this game against the Suns, so there's a chance that we see him suit up. That would be a nice little boost, but the dude hasn't played since December 30th, and we'll just have to see. It's very, very up in the air. Looking at the numbers for this game, the 76ers are 3.5-point favorites. That makes me think that the odds makers think that Embiid is going to play in this game, so I'm going to operate under the impression that he is going to play, and that does make me give a lot of respect here to the 76ers. I mean, they're a lot different team. The Suns are 6-9 against the spread on the road. They're 8-9 against the spread after a loss. The 76ers only 4-10 against the spread at home. They're 5-7-1 against the spread coming off a win. This is kind of a toss-up game to me, guys. I think if Embiid is going to actually play, we want to be on the 76ers here at -3.5. Too many unknowns. I know there's a lot of bad things being said about the Suns right now. Maybe they're reading that. Maybe we end up with some 40-point game from KD and a 35-point game from Booker, and they roll here. So we'll just have to wait and see. This is another game I'm pretty much dedicated to staying away from. Very many unknowns out there. Next on the docket, we're looking at the Indiana Pacers going on the road to take on the Brooklyn Nets. The Pacers have fought their way back to 18-18 on the season, winning 3 out of their last 4, including a win over the Boston Celtics in that stretch. They've seen Halliburton kind of turn his season around. He's coming off a 27-point game there against the Suns. That's definitely a good development. Not really like the Suns have very good perimeter defense, but still got to give the guy credit. He's looking way, way better than he did early in the season when he was a complete disaster. We've liked what we've seen from Obi Toppin coming off the bench. Ben Shepherd's coming off a very nice game off the pine as well. They shot nearly 40% from 3 in that game. Siakam continues to just be very, very solid. He was a +18 out there. Nembhard actually, despite only scoring 9 points, was a +20. So very good stuff across the board from the Pacers, and that one, they come into this game very, very healthy and ready to go. Halliburton good to go, Siakam good to go, like the bench is healthy, like a lot of good things, a lot of things pointed in the right direction here for the Pacers as they go on the road to take on the Brooklyn Nets, who are 13-22. They're leaning into the tank here. They just got destroyed by the Embiid and the 76ers the last time out. This is not a team that's actively trying to win games right now. I mean, they're not playing their best roster. D'Angelo Russell seems very depressed over there, not playing well at all in his last game. And yeah, 16 points from Tyrese Martin, basically the best thing we saw from the Nets in that game. So we'll see what they do in this one. Obviously, the injury report is going to be littered with dudes here for the Brooklyn Nets. We see Cam Thomas, D'Angelo Russell, Cam Johnson, like Ben Simmons is even on the injury report. D'Angelo Russell dealing with a shin issue. He's apparently questionable for this game. I don't think they really want him to play. They want to keep losing games. Cam Thomas won't play, and didn't play in that Saturday game against the 76ers. Apparently, he is very close to coming, getting back into the rotation full time. And when he's out there, he's going to shoot it. In 22 minutes, he scored 24 points against Milwaukee back on January 2nd. So if he plays or not, obviously it makes a big difference here, but we'll see. That's very up in the air. Cameron Johnson didn't play against the 76ers. Will he play here on Monday? That is up in the air as well. But if there's any chance they can hold these guys out, they're going to. The Nets want to be losing games at this point. So look at the numbers here, guys. We see the Pacers, they are 8.5-point favorites. The Nets are getting 8.5 points here at home. We've got a total of 222.5. The Pacers 10-11 against the spread on the road, 6-11 against the spread after a win. The Nets 6-9 against the spread at home, and they're 12-8-1 against the spread after a loss. Despite that number, guys, I just think I'm still, leaning here towards the Pacers. We need a little bit more injury clarity, so I'm not 100% sure if this is going to end up in the pinned comment or not, but I do think the Nets are actively trying to lose. I think they're very likely to hold as many of these guys out of these games as they possibly can, especially guys like Cameron Johnson, who they very, very much would like to trade and bring in, a haul of draft assets preferably. So we'll see what happens there, but give me the Pacers here to win this game by double digits. Next up, we've got the Orlando Magic going on the road to take on the New York Knicks. the Magic just won't go away, although they didn't look great in their last game, guys, losing 105-92 against the Utah Jazz, who are resting guys. The Magic, I don't know. It's been tough, guys. I mean, what are they supposed to do? They just keep losing and losing and losing player after player after player. It's just been brutal, brutal stuff. Against the Jazz, we saw them, do what they could out there. Not a lot of starters left for this team, honestly. I mean, Tristan da Silva finally hit a rough shooting night. Cole Anthony not looking great out there. 12 points, 5 of 14 from the field. As a team, they shot 14 of 47 from 3. They got pretty much crushed there on the boards. KCP 0 of 4 from 3. Just a bad day across the board there for the Orlando Magic. So we'll see if they can bounce back here. The biggest bounce back they could get is getting some of these guys back from injury, but Anthony Black listed as out. Jalen Suggs listed as out as well. So yeah, we'll see what happens. Yeah, I mean, Black still dealing with that back issue. Suggs obviously dealing with a pretty severe back issue, having to be, rolled off the court in his last game. That kind of scary looking deal against the Raptors. So not loving what we're seeing from Orlando right now, and they do not have an easy opponent lined up as they go on the road to take on the Knicks, who are actually having a rough time as well, guys. They're fresh off a 139-126 loss there at Chicago. So the Knicks probably have to be pretty happy to get back to Madison Square Garden. It was pretty rough. They couldn't defend anyone. Cat put up a 44 points in the loss. He was doing everything he could. Jalen Brunson had 33, but they didn't play any defense in this game. They only shot 26% from three-point range. That's not going to get the job done when you're allowing the Bulls to shoot 54% from three-point range. So a brutal night out there for the Knicks. They're definitely in a big bounce-back spot here. They did rebound the ball well in that game, and obviously over the course of the season, they've been a very good team. They're still 24-12 on the year. In terms of their injury report, we see Brunson on there and Karl Anthony Towns on there, so pretty big deals there. Brunson dealing with that calf issue. He's probable for this game, so it sounds like he's going to be out there. And Cat, guys, he's actually questionable with a knee issue. We're seeing that problem crop up. Doesn't seem great. Apparently picked that up during, this game against the Bulls. We'll see. I mean, he did do post-game weightlifting on Saturday, so I think there's a very, very good chance we'll see him out there here on Monday. So looking at this number, the Knicks are 11.5-point favorites. That makes me think Cat's going to play as well. We've got a total of 209.5. Orlando 8-11 against the spread on the road, 2-4 against the spread on no rest, and 2-4 against the spread with a rest disadvantage. The Knicks 8-6-1 against the spread at home, 6-5 against the spread after a loss, and 4-4 against the spread with a rest advantage. Guys, give me the Knicks to get the blowout win and cover in this one. Orlando's running out of steam. They just don't have dudes left. The guys that they do have left, not playing great. It was very predictable that Tristan da Silva was eventually going to hit something of a rookie wall here, and he's not really a guy that I thought was just going to go nuts and be scoring 20 points per game anymore. So yeah, give me the Knicks here to get a blowout win and cover at Madison Square Garden in a big bounce-back spot after a tough loss against the Bulls. Next up, guys, we're looking at the Milwaukee Bucks going on the road to take on the Toronto Raptors. The Bucks come into this game 17-16 on the season. They've actually been having a really rough time, losing 4 out of their last 5. They lost against Portland their last time out. Not a great look, losing 105-102 against a tanking Portland Trailblazers team. Milwaukee's been kind of a confusing team. They've shown they can really turn it on by, winning the NBA Cup. Giannis had 31 points in the loss. Dame only had 16, though, and a pretty bad shooting night out there for Milwaukee in general. They didn't get anything amazing from their bench outside of AJ Green, who went absolutely nuts. 7 of 13 from three-point range for 21 points for him. So good stuff there, but they got out-rebounded and just a really kind of weird, bad game there from the Milwaukee Bucks. So we'll see what they can do to bounce back here. They're not looking particularly healthy. A lot of guys on the injury report, but that's kind of the way it goes for these older teams. Chris Middleton, he is probable for this game. His ankle is on his ongoing ankle recovery stuff. Andre Jackson Jr. illness, he's questionable for this one. Giannis, he is probable for this one with his knee. He's old. He's not old. He's just got, that knee thing. They always list him as probable just in case he decides he wants to sit this game out. So we'll see what they can do going on the road to take on the Toronto Raptors, who are only 8-27 on the season. They're fresh off of a 109-97 loss there against the Orlando Magic. Kind of a down day there for Toronto. I kind of expected better from them, but we did not get it. I mean, Scotty Barnes, 20 points. Jakob Poeltl, 25. Quickly had a down game, guys. Only 11 points for him. Only 1 of 9 from 3. As a team, Toronto did shoot 34% from three-point range, so not a horrible shooting day, but also not amazing. And they got out-rebounded by the very, very, understaffed, Orlando Magic. So we'll see what they can do in this one. Toronto comes into this game relatively healthy outside of RJ Barrett, who is probably going to end up missing this game as well. Still dealing with an illness. Apparently, he's unlikely to come back for this one, but we'll have to see. It does seem like he might return to absence here to action here on Monday. and start here against the Bucks, that would be a very big deal. But looking at the numbers here, Toronto's getting 6.5 points, so I guess that does make sense here that they are projecting RJ Barrett to eventually play in this game. That's pretty interesting, guys. The Raptors getting 6.5, a total of 230.5. Milwaukee 7 and 8 against the spread on the road, 6 and 9 against the spread after a loss. Toronto 12 6 and 1 against the spread at home, and 16 9 and 1 against the spread after a loss. Guys, this feels a little bit wild, but give me the Toronto Raptors here getting 6.5 points as long as RJ Barrett is actually playing. If he's playing, I think that puts a lot of pressure on the Bucks. I know they're in a bounce back spot, but traveling up there to Toronto is not easy. The Raptors are a very, very tough team that play, with a lot of effort usually. So, yeah, give me the Raptors here getting points. I think they've got a chance to maybe even win this game straight up. Next up, we've got the San Antonio Spurs going on the road to take on the Chicago Bulls. The Spurs are now 18 and 17 on the year. They are fresh off a tough loss there against the Nuggets, but they did win one game of that home and home, little mini series there. So, yeah, Wembanyama, 21st birthday celebrated with a loss, but it's been amazing to see his growth this season. It's been wild stuff. He didn't play well in that last game for sure. Gotta mention that at least. But he did have 20 points. He had 23 rebounds, but he just didn't put up the crazy efficient shooting numbers that we've been seeing recently. So not a bad game. A 20 and 23 game, that's not a problem. Harrison Barnes also chipped in 22 points. Devin Vassell had 19. So this team kind of did some good stuff. They just didn't shoot the ball well enough from three to eventually end up with the win, especially getting dominated there in overtime and kind of falling apart there in the fourth quarter. They're a young team. Those kind of growing pains are definitely going to happen, even when they're being led by Chris Paul. But man, his offense has just fallen off a cliff. He can't make a three. He can barely make a shot inside the arc. It has gotten very, very tough to watch. So we'll see what they can do in this one. The Spurs come into this game fully healthy, so that's a big plus here going on the road to take on the Chicago Bulls, who are 16 and 19 on the season, but they've won 3 out of their last 4, which is, pretty exciting stuff for Chicago fans. A 139-126 win there over the Knicks. That was a crazy, crazy game, guys. Levine had 33 points. Still crazy to me that nobody can get a deal done to bring him in. I think he would help so many different teams. Kobe White also had 33. Vujacic had 22. He's being linked to the Warriors now in some trade talks. 22 and 12. Those kind of numbers would definitely help Golden State. We've seen, decent stuff from the Bulls bench recently as well. And as a team, they shot 54% from three-point range in that win. Can they keep that up? Can they replicate that? Seems like a big ask. They are healthy coming into this game with the exception of Ayo Dosunmu. Also, guys, got to mention that Lonzo Ball dunk. That felt nice. Didn't look like he has his normal ups. Maybe that'll come back in a year or two, but great to see him out there playing basketball. So looking at the numbers here, the Bulls are getting 2.5 points. We've got a total of 236.5. The Spurs 9 and 6 against the spread on the road, 11 and 5 against the spread after a loss. The Bulls 8 and 9 against the spread at home. They are 5 9 and 1 against the spread after a win. Give me the Spurs here, guys. I think this is a great spot for them here on the road. They're a good road team. They're great coming off of a loss. I think we'll see a nice bounce back game there from Wemby. Chris Paul can't possibly play any worse, and I think we're getting normal contributions from the rest of the team, and the Bulls are in for a huge regression there in terms of their three-point shooting. So definitely give me the San Antonio Spurs on the road in this game. Next on the docket, we're looking at the Dallas Mavericks going on the road to take on the Memphis Grizzlies. The Mavs come into this game 20 and 15 on the season. They're fresh off a 4th straight loss. No big surprise there. They weren't able to handle the Cavaliers. The Cavaliers are probably the best team in the NBA right now, if we're being honest. And yeah, the Mavs far from full strength right now. I mean, we did like, what we saw from Quentin Grimes in the loss. He had 26 points, but other than that, Clay, 16 points, a pretty mediocre shooting night. No Kyrie Irving in this game. And yeah, it just seems like the Mavs are, relatively content to just sit back, lose games, and wait for Luka to come back and save them. Looking at the injury report, Kyrie still on there, guys. He's continuing to deal with that illness. He's been ruled out of that game on Monday, against the Grizzlies, so won't be seeing Kyrie in this one. Maybe a little bit more of Kyrie, missing games in the regular season. But, oh well, it doesn't really matter. This is a team that's just going to be focused on the playoffs, and they probably don't really care where they end up being seated. We'll see what they can do against the Grizzlies, who are now 23 and 13 after losing 2 in a row and 3 out of their last 4. Losing against the Warriors probably felt pretty freaking bad. You don't want to lose and get shit-talked by Draymond Green, but that is what happened to them. It's not like it's the full-strength Grizzlies necessarily. I mean, no Ja in this game. We did see, good stuff from Desmond Bane, good stuff from Jaren Jackson Jr. As a team, they only shot 33% from 3. That's not usually going to get the job done, especially in, games where the Warriors are shooting over 50% from three-point range. They're going to be a tough team to beat when they make all of their shots like that. So we'll see what the Grizzlies can do in this one, guys. It looks like they're going to have no Ja once again. Desmond Bane on the injury report, Marcus Smart, Luke Kennard, Santi Aldama all on the injury report as well. This is a very, very banged up team. Yeah, Ja confirmed out. Desmond Bane doubtful for this game, so it looks like he's going to be out as well. Two very banged up teams here, but the Grizzlies might be a little bit more used to it. Memphis, they're actually 5.5-point favorites in this game. We've got a total of 232. These numbers, guys, they don't mean a ton, but they mean a little bit. Dallas, they're 9-9-1 against spread on the road. They're 7-6-1 after a loss. Obviously, a lot of those numbers were compiled with Luka in the lineup and Kyrie. Memphis 13-5 against spread at home, so a very good home team. They're 10-2 against the spread after a loss. I don't know if this is going in the pin comment. There's so many injuries on both sides here, guys, but I'm definitely leaning towards the Grizzlies -5.5 playing at home. They're more used to playing without their stars than Dallas is, and yeah, I think they're just a deeper, more talented team than Dallas overall, so go ahead and give me the Grizzlies to cover this game and win by at least 6. Next up, we're looking at the LA Clippers going on the road here to take on the Minnesota Timberwolves. The Clippers are now 20-15 coming off that 131-105 demolition there of the Atlanta Hawks. We saw Kyrie come back, look very good in limited minutes. Obviously, 19 minutes, 12 points, 3 of 5 from 3. He did everything you would want to see from him in, a season debut, especially at this point in the year. I kind of thought Kyrie wouldn't even play this year. Turns out he is going to be back out there. Let's hope that's for a long time and not a short time. Zubac played really well. Harden played a full-on facilitator role. He had 15 assists in the game and just a very nice night out there from the Clippers in general. They also played some very good defense and saw good contributions from the bench. So they played great in this game and they come into this one looking very, very healthy. It appears Kawhi, should be ready to go for this game. I would assume he'll play a limited number of minutes once again. We'll see, how quickly they want to ramp him up, but I would assume it'll be very, very, very slow. We'll see what the Clippers can do here. Going on the road to take on the Timberwolves, who are now 17-17 on the year, losers of their last 3 in a row. Anthony Edwards, after complaining about having to pass the ball out of double teams, went out and scored 53 points in a loss against the Detroit Pistons. Bro, you can't win these games on your own. I know you're young. I know this is hard to understand. It's going to be rough, but you just can't go out. Like you scored 53 points. Are you going to score 120 to win this game? I don't think so. You're going to have to figure out a way to get something out of your crappy teammates because Julius Randle and Rudy Gobert have to be an absolute nightmare to try and work around and find a way to get them to score enough points and share the ball well enough for you to win games. So I understand his frustration. It's got to be an absolute nightmare out there, but you cannot just do it all on your own. That's not going to work in the NBA. We saw, the Timberwolves shoot 40% still from 3, still lose. The rebounding was terrible. Going to have to rebound a lot better. I wonder what Rudy Gobert's excuse for getting 6 rebounds in the entire game is. So we'll see what the Timberwolves can do here. They're not even banged up. They have no good excuses here. They're fully healthy for this game. So we'll see what happens, guys. They're 3-point favorites. We've got a total of 214.5. The Clippers 9-8 against spread on the road, 12-7 against spread after a win. The Timberwolves 4-11-1 against spread at home and 6-9-1 against spread after a loss. Guys, give me the Clippers getting 3 points here. They might be the better team. Honestly, I think they're definitely the better team right now. The Timberwolves straight up not having a good time, not getting along. This is a team that desperately needs to try and find a way to make some sort of move here at the trade deadline, but I don't exactly know what they can do at this point. So give me the Clippers in this one. You could even take the Clippers to win this game straight up. Last but not least, guys, we're looking at the Miami Heat going on the road to take on the Sacramento Kings. The Heat come into this game 17-16 on the year, losers of the last 2 in a row. They lost against the Pacers, and then they lost their last time out, getting blown out 136-100 against the Utah Jazz. Yeah, that's not a great look, guys. Obviously, they weren't at full strength, but Tyler Hero having a terrible, terrible game. Jimmy Butler suspended. All the drama surrounding him seems like it's really kind of torpedoing this team. They need to get him out of there. Bam, 0 of 6 from the field. He scored a grand total of 4 points in that game against Utah. Things are getting real bleak and really, really out of hand. I mean, we saw good stuff from the bench in general from the Heat. All those role player guys playing hard. Congratulations, that's great. That's not going to lead you to win. That's not going to lead to you winning a ton of games, as you can see from the fact you just got blown out by 36 by the Utah Jazz. So we'll see what the Heat can do in this one. Jimmy Butler still suspended. Haywood Highsmith, he's on the injury report. He might play. He's questionable, dealing with that some sort of personal matter. We don't have any other clarity on that. So he could be back. He could not. I don't think that really moves the needle for me at all. We'll see what he can do going on the road to take on the red-hot Sacramento Kings, who've now won 4 in a row. They're fresh off a blowout win there against the Warriors last night. So they were playing at Golden State, and then they're going home to Sacramento. So a pretty easy, quick little flight there. and now they get to host the Miami Heat. Yeah, the Kings got to love what's going on right now. It's looked much, much better. Malik Monk, 26 points in the win. Fox did not play, so if he plays in this one, he'll be fully rested and ready to go. Keegan Murray, he did make a couple of three threes in the game, so it's nice to see him getting back on track. A plus 17 from DeRozan. Sabonis, a massive game, 22 points, 13 boards, 7 assists out there. They dominated the boards against the Warriors. They did a good job of defending, basically everybody except for Steph in that game. So, yeah, good stuff out there from the Kings. They come into this game relatively healthy outside of De'Aaron Fox. Obviously, we could see this get, updated a little bit. Fox didn't play in that game against the Warriors. I think there's an excellent chance that he comes back and, plays in this game going up against this, Miami Heat team, and he'll be back at home. There's no reason he should be missing this one. The Kings are 3-point favorites in this game. We've got a total of 224.5. Miami, 7-9 against spread on the road, 9-6 against spread after a loss, and 5-2 against spread when they have a rest advantage. The Kings only 6-13 and 2 against spread at home, 2-5 against spread on no rest, and they're 6-9-1 against spread after a win. I know all those stats, guys. They don't look good for the Kings, but I am definitely shading towards... Actually, no, I'm not shading towards. I'm taking the Sacramento Kings here for sure at -3. I think as long as we see De'Aaron Fox playing this game, Sacramento should be in great shape. It seems like they figured some things out. It seems like they're playing with a lot more focus and a lot more just intention right now, and I think they're in a great spot to... I'm going to ride the hot hand here. I'm riding the hot hand. Give me the Kings here at -3. That's all the games we have for today, guys. Hit that like button for good luck on all of your bets and subscribe to the channel if you're new. Get over to the secondary channel. There's a link in the description. You can see 6 of my favorite college basketball plays for the day. Let me know in the comments any questions you have on today's slate. Thanks for watching. Head over to Stump the Spread to get on our free email list and to check out all of our free content over there. And we will see you guys tomorrow for more sports betting action.